something.
Tell me.
Can I have my tablet?
Wow.
Thank you so much.
You believe her?
You're welcome.
That's rich. That is rich.
I'm still recording, Daddy. Hello and welcome to the Creative Continuum. My name is Lindsay, and this is where I discuss my love for the fiber arts. I use the fiber arts as a creative and meditative practice, and what I get into is crochet, knitting, and spinning. And this year I'll be getting into weaving. I'm saying it so that I hold myself accountable, because I don't want to just decide, well, no, I'll just wait till next year. No, I'm not gonna wait till next year. So welcome if you're new, welcome if you're old. This is very inclusive space. So I have some seltzer that I'm drinking, lemon seltzer. It's delicious. I don't know. Maybe today is just the day that I'm just like, this is delicious. But I wanted to have a sip. Indeed. And talk about some of the things that I'm working on, and discuss some of the things that I hope to work on for next month. I am coming to you from Maryland in the United States. It is just outside, I'm just outside of Washington, D.C., about an hour away. And yeah, so welcome. Let's get started. So the first thing that I wanted to discuss, wanted to show you are my works in progress. I have one that is a burgeoning design, and one that is someone else's design, because I like to make stuff. And the fantastic part, one is crochet, one is knit. So we'll start off with the not my design one. I am currently working on the Florence Shawl pattern. This comes to me by way of Fancy Tiger Crafts, but the pattern is by Emily Platzer, and it is something that I said I was going to work on the last episode with some hand spun. So let's take a look at it. It's been slowly coming. I had to rip back one or two times, but there are still mistakes. There's always going to be mistakes. Because I'm not an experienced knitter. So again, I used, this is Corriedale 2-ply, spun short forward, and in the method that I learned during the spin along with the Woolery. So, and I will put a link down below to that video that showed me how to do fractal striping, and this is, I love it. This I bought at the Frederick Fiber Festival. It is 100% alpaca, and I love it. That's it. It's 2-ply too. Looks like 2-ply. And here we have it. I'm almost done. It's a quick, beautiful knit, and I love the striping. I don't know if you could see, it's probably not as bright, but yeah, I love it. It's very fall. Meet me in the woods. I should make a pattern called Meet Me in the Woods. I like long names for things, but this is like a Meet Me in the Woods kind of thing, like Hansel and Gretel. I'm not the witch, nor am I the huntsman, but she ain't gonna be picking up kids all the doggone time. She's not gonna be doing that with a little candy house. So you call me the Count. That's my new name for this part of my life. I am Count, the Count. Not the Countess, the Count. I'm wearing something wonderful and beautiful. I forget the name. I forget the pattern. I made this maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It is super duper long. It is a case study on why you should do a gauge swatch. However, because I love how it almost touches the floor, it was only supposed to go to like a little like hip length, and it ended up it's almost touching the floor. But I love it because it's cool. And again, I am now the count. So this is Florence Shawl pattern. And I love the simplicity of it. It's so meditative, so nice. You don't have to, I still have to look at, I always check because I'm a beginning knitter. I still call myself a beginning knitter. So yeah, but amazing. Now let me show you, let me tell you a story real quick. So I have been to a few yarn stores in the neighborhood, and I don't feel very comfortable there. They're very old and very white. And I've decided in my older age that instead of trying to fit in, I'm just not. It's a lot. It's a lot to be a person of color and to be in these all white spaces that are clearly not catering to me. And I'm sure those spaces are great for someone else, but not for me. So I'm going to go where I'm wanted and where I enjoy myself. And so I picked up some knitting needles for sock knitting, which I'm doing. This is just some Patton's sock yarn from Michael's or wherever, but we have the cuff of a sock, my friend, on these itty bitty needles. Yeah, this is for my daughter. I'm starting off with baby socks and toddler socks, and well, she's a toddler, but I'm starting off with the little socks. And then I will start making socks for family and friends. I feel like if I make my mom some socks and my partner some socks, that, you know, they'll get really good wear out of them. If they need to be mended, I'll learn how to mend them. And also, like, once I was talking to my partner about, you know, sock knitting, and he was like, nobody cares. Nobody cares about sock knitting. And then I was like, do you want to touch the yarn that the sock is made out of? And he puts his hand on it and he's like, ooh, ooh. And I'm like, I know. It's a luxury to have handmade socks. If you receive them from anyone, know that you are loved, first of all. So daughter first, because small then big, and then son. He picked, the yarn that he picked is not over. She didn't pick this yarn. This is me trying to figure out how to make socks. Even though I took a class. Let me get the yarn that he picked out. The yarn that my son picked out is this. This is from the Crochet Cove. I got this also at the Frederick Fiber Festival. It's the only one I saw. And I'm very excited. There's about 402 yards, and this is what he picked out. It's got stellina in it. Yeah, it's got stellina in it. It's got merino, superwash merino, and nylon. And then colorway is called Dancing in the Dark. I saw it, I was like, I have to have you. I don't know what I would do with you, but I have to. And so now I know these are gonna be socks for my little guy. So I'm very excited about that. So now on to the design, you say? Oh, I didn't tell you. So what pattern am I using for the socks? I'm using this one, the Rye Light from Tin Can Knits. It's a free pattern, and the reason I picked it is because although I did take a sock knitting class online, and of course the pattern is just fine. It's from Amy Scher. It's for worsted and DK weight, and I really kind of want to just, the way that I learn is I have to be a little bit more hands-on. I have to do the exact thing. I do want to make worsted weight and DK weight socks for my mother, because that's what she's into. But also looking at the yarn that I was using, it didn't have very much give, and the nylon helps with that. And so, yeah, so I'm starting off with this, with sock yarn, and so far, so good. I really don't know how to knit in the round. I'm learning. It's nice to learn, right? It's nice to learn. All right, so we are coming to this lovely little bag, which will soon house those socks because I am almost done with this pattern. I do plan on making another sweater just to make sure everything is fine. And this should come out next year sometime. So I'm still working on attaching because I can only do it during the day. But this is it's inside out. And this is my sweater. It is constructed from the bottom up. And then these are set-in sleeves. And so I have I have the puff for that up there, and I will soon add the rest. I hope to be done with this. I keep saying I hope to be done with it really, really soon because it's cold out and I want to wear it, quite honestly. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. Next week or this week. If it gets done, if I get it done this weekend, I'm wearing it. There is Magpie Fibers. Their flagship store is not very far away from me. It's about 20-25 minute drive, which is mostly freeway driving. And they have a craft night on Saturday. And I'm gonna go, even though I'm awkward. I'm gonna go. And I'm gonna be awkward. But I'm gonna go. Yeah. That's what I'm excited about. These are the little things. My little sock, and yeah, I have more projects that are unfinished. I have none that are finished. I also have one more project that's not finished, and it is again a pattern that I'm working on, but this is the time where I get my most of my crochet and knitting and spinning done is this time of year, because what are you going to do at night? You know, I'm just going to be in the house crocheting. We weren't going out for the pandemic anyway. But this hasn't been worked on in a little bit, and I really do need to get back to it because I want to send it to my friend. And this is the Butter and Sage blanket that I'm working on for my friend. I came up with the pattern myself. I think it's great. It's Sandness Garn Peer Gynt. Yeah, which is really rustic and warm, and you can see the stitch definition. It's just fantastic. So clearly I need to use this yarn again for something like a outerwear garment. Yeah. So I'm very, very whips this episode. And I don't like to be just a bunch of projects, but because I'm slowly moving forward on all of them, it feels not so bad. It could be worse. It could be a lot worse, but it's not. What am I reading? What am I getting into? Let me show you some of the books that I picked up from the library. Just one, actually, because the other two I haven't really gotten into. So a few things. I went to the library and I picked up this book, Slow Knitting, A Journey from Sheep to Skein to Stitch. And it's by Hannah Thiessen. And opened the book straight to the beautiful design that I want to crochet, that I want to knit, which is this. This is called the Wild Grains. It is a cardigan. It has a lot of texture. I'm really into texture right now, texture or shape. And yes, so this book has been really nice. I haven't gotten into it fully. I know that there are patterns. I know that it talks about certain like wool folk. It'll talk about bare naked wool. It'll talk about different kind of yarns. and different kind of patterns. I thought it would go a little bit more into sheep to skein to stitch. But it does go through a few different yarns that are made by small businesses that are doing a lot of conscientious fiber arts. It's not fiber arts. The word escapes me at this moment, but these are conscientious businesses when it comes to, you know, the ecology of wool. So that's important. So I'm having a lot of fun reading that at night. It also puts me to sleep, so that's okay. I decided that I'm getting into the socks. I'm going to get into the mittens. I want to make my kids some mittens this year. I haven't really gotten into this, but it does help you figure it out. Sometimes I feel like, and different ways to do it. Mitten architecture, choosing yarn, wearing ease. So this just goes into all the nitty gritty. It has different designs. Like for example, this is called Lines and Ladder. I've never done cables. So, and this is this right here. This is called Litter Mates. Love it. So I'm really excited to just make things for my kids that are small, quick, easy, and useful. This one's called Cactus Flower. I really love that one. Really, really nice. Really nice. And easy. This is the one that this Guernsey. This Guernsey pattern. I really liked that. So I'm really excited to get into those two books. And then maybe a month ago, or I never know, but I ordered Morit. This magazine, it is based in Edinburgh. It's from Edinburgh, Scotland. And Morit, I think, is the name for a brown wool. I'm very excited about this. Let me show you. And see, shawls. I will knit a shawl, girl. I will knit a shawl. I will knit a shawl and enjoy it. That's crocheted. That's gorgeous. My family came through, as they do. So, Morit, I can't wait. I've decided that I'm not going to buy any new patterns not from now, from January to June next year, just because I have stacks of patterns and I have way too much yarn. I think maybe next episode I'll go over how much yarn I have. I don't have a big stash. I'm not one of those people that have a big stash. I don't like a big stash, but I do have more than I should. To be honest, I should not have this much yarn in my life. And yeah, so that's that. So I'm and this is the autumn winter 2022. I'm very excited, very, very excited about it. Very excited. I really do want to, what's that? I want to show you one that I want to see. Look at this Star Trail. This edition was inspired by space. So this one's called Star Trail. Look at that. And it also helps. It also helps that the model is gorgeous. This is what I'm making for my mother. She doesn't watch, don't worry. And maybe if she did, she'd be like, oh, you know. But this is what I'm making for my mother for Christmas. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. Anyway, because she's cold. And again, them cowls that come down, super cute. Super, super cute. So before I get going, I want to show you my children's book recommendation, which this episode is going to be a book that I own that does not have the jacket on it. But if you know this book, you'll recognize it from without the jacket. I don't think kids can have jackets. We tried, but then it got ripped, and then my son would, when he was younger, would just sort of like crumble because it was like, it's ripped. But it's nobody's fault. So we take all the jackets off now. So what is this book called? Soulway. It is Soulway by Lupita Nyong'o. And the illustrator is Vashti Harrison. And the way that let me show you a few pictures and then I'll tell you. This is Soulway. Soulway was born, I'm losing a little bit of light, so I'm so sorry. Soulway was born the color of midnight. She looked nothing like her family, not even a little, not even at all. This is a story about a little girl who's very dark-skinned, and she gets teased and made fun of. And at one point, she's crying and she doesn't even like herself. And Soulway means star. And so she gets picked up by a star and is told a very magical tale about night and day and how they are sisters. And I love this book. I tear up every time I finish reading it. My partner does too. It's such a beautiful book with a beautiful story. And Vashti Harrison is just outstanding. I think this is the way that it's done. They always tell you in the beginning of the book where they have the, Library of Congress and all that Simon & Schuster books for young readers. How was this made? And it says that the illustrations for this book were rendered using Adobe Photoshop. That's fantastic. I'm losing a lot of light. I think we're going to have to say bye-bye. It was a quick episode.
I'm sorry.
It's getting very late. It's not that late. It's just I'm losing sunlight. But sometimes, in order to do what you want, you have to just do it. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, you can hit like, you can subscribe. I will be here next month. Hopefully not at the end of the month like I am every month. But there's so much to do. I have little kids. I have a family. I'm trying to, start designing and still making things that make me happy and exercising and eating right. And I know it's hard. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to show up as I am. This is me. This is my life. I'm happy to be here and share this time with you. And I'll see you next week. That's a lie. I'll see you next month. All right. Take care and stay safe. Sending you lots of good vibes. Good maker vibes. In the form of bubbles. Bye.